are now in the game in the top left-hand corner, representing NSHOseo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Brave. His opponent in the bottom left from Team Acer, it is NSHOseo in the red.
So NSHOseo has a tendency to do proxy hatcheries into evolution chambers. He likes to play around with blocking and natural really quickly. What was that? Okay. Anywho, my producer just walked over and took something off my headset. It was.
It appears to be broken, Tim.
I have a broken headset. Was it really? Oh, I have a broken headset. Sorry if I look like a goofball on camera.
You had a little antenna. You know, you look like an Android, Tim.
I had an alfalfa going on. We do have an early pull, actually, and an early drone coming up to this natural, which, again, NSHOseo loves to do these kind of strategies. He'll pop in, potentially get a hatchery up, throw down an evolution chamber right down afterwards, and expand behind it. So let's see if Brave will defend it pretty well. He's already opened up with a forge, which is helpful, and it can also get down photon cannons.
Spawning pool is about halfway done at this point. You do go, for the hatchery here before you bother going for the hatchery at your natural expansion. So there it is. Great call, Tim. Evo chamber is on the way.
Yeah, just what NSHOseo does, man. He loves it. Falling up into some lings here. So interesting strategy. Brave will scout it right away. Luckily for Brave, he did come down to the correct position down here in bottom left, instead of cross position. And so evolution chamber's on the way. Should get a couple of photon cannons up, and he can actually wall us off pretty nicely in terms of just getting the ramp walled off. It depends on how many photon cannons he wants to put up, but I would actually recommend 2.
Yeah, it takes a long time to kill it with just 1. I feel like almost any time a Zerg player proxies a structure, for instance, if you're up against a proxy hatchery and they're actually letting the hatchery build, if you only leave 1 cannon and that hatchery completes, they start a queen, your 1 cannon will not kill the hatchery fast enough, and they'll be able to get a queen out and drop creep tumors and slow things down even more, because then you actually will need to make an observer, because there's going to be too much creep. Things just don't work out. Pylon is going to be canceled here in just a second by Brave, and that will allow his hatchery to go down. We're going to see this evolution chamber die off too. Probe's immediately running away. And look, he gets a probe. That's really nice. Of course, won't be able to get the cannon into the yellow, but I'll take that, man.
So this just prevents Brave from going for Nexus first. It's all his whole entire strategy was planned to do. We saw him do that actually in his last match. So with all that happening, we do have NSHOseo available to follow up with his own hatchery at home aside of his natural. So the game's just a little bit on the different side. All we did was prevent Brave from getting a real fast economy boost. It's essentially normal in that state if we were to have Brave just open up with a normal forge.
This is a really interesting wall off, actually. Like, very interesting.
It's what you have to do against any type of potential fast pull. As Protoss, you just wall off the ramp in this little curve because you can't actually do the full ramp out front. The legs will get by and it'll be on a little bit on the weak side because you have to use pylons. So that's why it's curving like that.
I feel like this would be vulnerable, however. I mean, he's going to have to make sentries behind this, because if you actually went for roaches and came up this ramp, you would be able to hit the cybernetics core quite easily without actually being tagged by this cannon.
Yeah.
There's no problem of coming up the ramp and getting vision.
Yeah, that's certainly the trade-off here of getting the early game defense, is you have a mid-game possibility of getting that cybernetics core potentially sniped, or early mid-game, not really too far. But NSHOseo will be falling up into his own 3rd hatchery and just going to start droning up. We'll be getting it pretty nicely here. It has overlord protection in the top left corner, so he knows if anything is coming his way. He's got full map control, so the opening really worked out here for NSHOseo. What is Brave doing? He's falling up into 2 assimilators, got into his own forge, started +1, grabbing the robo here. So he'll be able to start getting pretty strong pretty soon. With these positions, actually, Sentry Immortal is pretty decently strong.
Yeah, it really is. This is actually, I'm forgetting which game it was. I know Losira was the Zerg who died. He was actually in the top left here. But yeah, that's a great point to make, because you come up here, this ramp at the natural, it's very easy to travel from here down to the natural of your opponent, NSHOseo. And if he tries to cross over here to the 3rd, NSHOseo's forces will have to cut right across in front of him, and he's still not a long distance away from any pylons or anything like that he drops. Everything well supported here with the short travel distance.
So we'll just keep an eye on Brave. Find out if he's going to be going for that strat. Last time he went for a Warp Prism first. Will he be starting Immortal production or going into the Warp Prism to do a little bit of harassment? I feel like the Warp Prism might be a little bit on the gimmicky side this time, and it's going to be a little bit harder to get to your opponent. You can actually beeline straight to the natural, but all the forces are available there for NSHOseo, and his main is natural.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be the Warp Prism here, because it's 7.5 minutes, and he had not started mining off this 3rd assimilator. And this is actually, you typically see when an Immortal Sentry all in, what you want to look for, if you're a Zerg player, and you're trying to, learn how to scout for an Immortal Sentry All-In, this gas will start mining at 6 minutes. If you see a third gas that's mining at 6 minutes, and you can tell this, say you arrive at 8 minutes with your Overlord, and you get a vision of it, and you're like, ooh, click on this gas. It will say 2,300. 200 gas has been mined. Remember, 100 gas is mined a minute. So if at 8 minutes you come in, you know this is a 6-minute gas. You could also see 2 gases. If you see 2, it's entirely possible because sometimes players will go for the later third gas, and they'll take the third and the fourth, and they'll just grab them both later. And it accomplishes the same thing as the quick third gas would do as well. But with such late gases here from Brave, he is going to be going for that Warp Prism play, and here it is, arriving.
All right, so NSHO's bringing his queens. He's going to try and focus on that Warp Prism, but a hefty amount of Zealots are being warped in, 4 of them, plus the 1 and 2 Sentries and Stalker they're already in there to begin with. So going to go ahead and engage right away. 26 Lings are popping out pretty soon. This queen is actually pinned against that force field, and she's not even attacking.
I think NSHO is in a lot of trouble right now. He could potentially just, I don't know, man. This build is very unconventional. NSHOseo Protosses obviously have found out something really cool here, and NSHO could go down to it. This Warp Prism very low, down to just 11 hit points, but I am extremely worried for the Acer Zerg right now, as Brave is doing a lot of damage.
It really prevents that greedy play. What they're doing is they're capitalizing on Zergs running up really heavily and then gearing up for an all-in. This push is coming a good minute and a half before a normal Sentry Immortal All-In would start moving out. And so suddenly you have units in your base when you actually aren't even creating units quite yet. So Brave, again, just going to go and start dealing with this pool. Left the Zealots here, and if he kills off the spawning pool, he can just lift up and head home. There's
a definite tell for it, though, in how late these gases are, and NSHO really needed to realize, with how late those gases did get on the field, that there was the potential for an all-in to be coming his way. Or, excuse me, not an all-in, a +1 4-gate. But, with how far out of the meta this build is at this point, I mean, this is the build, barring the Robo facility, this used to be a build that would hit around 8 minutes, and we saw lots of Protosses doing it versus Zergs to kill their thirds. This is hitting more around 9 minutes because you need this Warp Prism, but he's able to then follow it up with Immortals, with additional gateways, and a big all-in. This is the exact same thing we saw last game.
Well, we do have Brave getting away with that Warp Prism, so really nicely done there. Did kill off a nice amount of drones. If we can check out the warpers killed really quickly, just get an idea. Only 8 of them. Killed off 3 queens as well as dealt with a nice amount of lings. So behind this, Brave did get 4 Mortals out. Looks like he really is favoring this build at the moment and is moving towards potentially grabbing that third. Killing off those rocks is kind of a big kill though, so if NSHO seeing those rocks go off, Brave can change his mind right now and get aggressive, and he's actually building a couple more gateways, so it looks like he's going to do that.
Yep, he is going to be getting aggressive with 84 supply to just 90 for NSHO right now. He's got a lot of spine crawlers, but, well, this is what Lucier tried to do, man, to hold his Immortal Sentry All-In. It did not work well at all. 7 spawn crawlers over here at the natural expansion. There's going to be 4 over here at the third. Is it going to be enough with 4 Immortals? I just can't see how it is, Tim.
Guardian Shield's really important here for Brave. Needs to pop it up to keep that spine crawler. Wow, that was a really big fungal. Okay, follows up into the Guardian Shield. Spine crawler's damage is going to be weakened just a tad bit, and we do have the Immortal starting to shell away, but that fungal was really important. All the shields, the Immortals have been halved right away, but there are only Lings following up, and they're force field behind. A couple of botched force fields there for Brave, but still going to get the job done. Spinecrawler is trying to pop up. Can NSHO break out of here? Throwing down Infested Terrans as well. Spinecrawler is digging themselves in the bottom right.
NSHO had a great follow-up plan to that attack, but I just don't know that it's enough. Wow. And he actually just leaves the game feeling like, how did I just lose, even though I had Infestors out on the field to an Immortal Sentry All-In. Definitely not happy with the result of that, but Brave's build is really cool.
Yeah, and NSHO trying to hold that with, what, 9, 10 spine crawlers, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough. You need to have the Lings in there as well. Spine crawlers do put out a lot of damage, but they can't take that much damage in all reality, especially if coming from Immortals. So, NSHO,
well, I think
missing the GG key.
A lot of that...
I think it's hotkeyed on accident. You may have hotkeyed it wrong. F10N.
That's for those of you that only watch StarCraft and don't play it. F10N is what you click to surrender. Yeah.
Well, not just to surrender, like to actually quit out. You hit Q when it goes to score screen, but to actually just leave the game straight up when you're mad. F10N is the best combo straight up. I do it a lot. That's how I know it.
Well, NSHO goes down to Brave, so Brave has secured 2 victories for his team, and now is going to have to face off. Who do you think here? I gotta say, I don't bring another Zerg out against Brave because this is a weird build You've seen it twice now, I guess. The team has seen it twice.
Yeah.
So maybe if they do send out Zerk, he could be better prepared for that first part.
I'm wondering if Scarlett's hand was actually injured during these as well, because these could have been played last week, and she was for a couple weeks there. Her hand was hurting pretty badly. So, I mean, Scarlett would be the next choice, probably bringing out your top-tier Zerg to try and potentially get rid of this guy. It's kind of demolishing everyone that you're throwing out. But then again, if you're not going to pick a Zerg, there is only one. There is one person you can bring out.
Yeah, I at this point, I'm a little worried here. They are going to be bringing out Bly next to try to take down Brave. We'll see if he can do it. It's going to be a quick 2-minute commercial break coming at you, and then we will see, can Bly finally defeat this build out of Brave? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, for your IPTL